Picture this. Margaret, at 72, used to be the life of every family gathering. She'd dance at weddings, tell stories that made everyone laugh, and never missed her morning walks with her neighbor. But lately, something's changed. She's quieter, moves more slowly, and seems to have lost that spark that made her, well, Margaret. What happened? Was it just aging? Not necessarily. What Margaret and millions of others experience after 70 isn't always the natural process of getting older. Often, it's the result of silent habits and patterns that creep into our lives without warning. Things that rob us of joy, health, and connection when we should be enjoying our golden years the most. Today, we're going to explore 12 things that quietly ruin life after 70, backed by real research and the experiences of countless individuals who've walked this path before us. More importantly, we'll discover how to avoid these pitfalls and reclaim the vibrant life you deserve. If you're finding value in this content already, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. It helps us reach more people who could benefit from this important information. 1. Social isolation, the silent epidemic. Dr. Robert Butler, a renowned geriatrician, once said that loneliness kills more people over 70 than smoking. That's not just dramatic language, it's scientific fact. Research from the University of California, San Francisco found that lonely seniors have a 45% higher risk of death than their socially connected peers. Meet Harold, an 78-year-old retired engineer. After his wife passed away 5 years ago, Harold gradually stopped seeing friends. It felt too hard, he explains. Everything reminded me of her. What started as grief became a pattern. Harold would go days without speaking to another person, ordering groceries online, avoiding phone calls from his children. The result? Harold developed what researchers call social atrophy. The same way muscles weaken without use, our social skills and emotional resilience deteriorate without regular human connection. He began experiencing memory problems, depression, and even physical symptoms like headaches and digestive issues. But Harold's story has a turning point. His daughter convinced him to join a local chess club. I was terrified, Harold admits. I thought I'd forgotten how to talk to people. But chess gave him a structured way to connect. Within months, Harold was not only playing better chess, he was sleeping better, laughing more, and even started dating again. How to avoid social isolation. Make connection a daily practice. This doesn't mean you need to be surrounded by people constantly. Even one meaningful conversation per day can make a difference. Join clubs based on your interests, volunteer for causes you care about, or simply make it a point to chat with the cashier at the grocery store. If mobility is an issue, video calling with family members or joining online communities can provide crucial social connection. 2. The medication trap. When healing becomes harmful. Dr. Sarah Williams has been a geriatric pharmacist for over 20 years, and she's seen a disturbing pattern. I call it the prescription cascade, she explains. It starts with one medication for blood pressure, then another for the side effects of the first, then another for the side effects of the second, and so on. The average person over 70 takes between 7 to 13 medications daily. That's not just pills. It includes vitamins, supplements, and over-the-counter drugs. The problem isn't that these medications are individually harmful. It's that they interact in ways that even doctors can't always predict. Take Emma, a 74-year-old former teacher. She started with medication for arthritis pain. The anti-inflammatory drug upset her stomach, so her doctor added a stomach protector. That medication affected her sleep, leading to a sleep aid prescription. The sleep aid made her dizzy during the day, so she was given medication for balance issues. Within 2 years, Emma was taking 11 different medications and felt worse than when she started. The turning point came when Emma's new doctor conducted what's called a medication reconciliation. They discovered that 3 of her medications were doing the same job, 2 were no longer necessary, and 1 was actually causing the symptoms another medication was meant to treat. How to avoid the medication trap? Every 6 months, bring all your medications, including vitamins and supplements, to your doctor in a bag. Ask them to review each one and explain why you need it. Don't be afraid to ask, "What happens if I stop taking this?" Many times, medications prescribed for temporary conditions continue long after they're needed. Also, always tell every doctor about every medication you're taking. That includes specialists who might not communicate with your primary care physician. This is a great time to hit that like button if you're learning something valuable, and don't forget to subscribe for more content that could genuinely improve your life. 3. The comparison trap. When Facebook becomes a source of pain. Technology was supposed to connect us, but for many people over 70, social media has become a source of quiet desperation. Dr. Jennifer Smith, who studies aging and mental health, explains, older adults on social media often see the highlight reels of others' lives and compare them to their own everyday reality. Martha, 71, started using Facebook to keep up with her grandchildren. But soon, she found herself scrolling through posts from old high school friends. Everyone seemed to be traveling, having wonderful family gatherings, showing off their perfect houses, Martha recalls. I started feeling like my life was boring and meaningless. What Martha didn't realize is that she was experiencing what psychologists call compare and despair. Research from the University of Pennsylvania found that limiting social media use to 30 minutes per day significantly reduces feelings of loneliness and depression in just 1 week. The irony is that Martha's life was actually quite rich. She volunteered at the local library, had weekly coffee dates with her sister, and was teaching herself watercolor painting. But scrolling through others' curated posts made her own genuine experiences seem inadequate. How to avoid the comparison trap? If social media makes you feel worse about your life, it's okay to limit or eliminate it. Remember that people post their best moments, not their struggles. If you do use social media, focus on connecting with others rather than consuming content. Share your own authentic experiences, your grandchildren's funny quotes, your garden's progress, or a book you enjoyed. This shifts you from passive consumption to active connection. 4. The sedentary slide. When rest becomes rust. Use it or lose it isn't just a saying, it's biological fact. After age 30, we lose about 3 to 8% of our muscle mass per decade, and this accelerates after 70. But here's what's surprising. This muscle loss isn't inevitable if we stay active. Dr. Maria Rodriguez, a physical therapist specializing in seniors, shares the story of 2 patients, both 75 years old. Frank came to me barely able to climb stairs. He'd been taking it easy for years, thinking that was best for his health. Sarah, on the other hand, had been walking daily and doing light strength training. She could still hike for miles. The difference wasn't genetics or luck, it was movement. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity shows that adults who exercise regularly have the muscle mass and bone density of people 20 years younger. But Frank's story has hope. Starting with just 5 minutes of movement daily, walking to the mailbox, doing arm circles while watching TV, standing up and sitting down 10 times, Frank gradually rebuilt his strength. Within 6 months, he was climbing stairs normally and had started ballroom dancing with his wife. How to avoid the sedentary slide? Start where you are, not where you think you should be. If you haven't exercised in years, begin with just 5 minutes of gentle movement daily. This could be stretching, walking around your house, or doing simple chair exercises while watching television. The key is consistency, not intensity. As your body adapts, gradually increase the time and challenge level. Remember, any movement is better than no movement. 5. The nutrition neglect, when eating becomes mechanical. Food is medicine, but after 70, many people develop what nutritionists call eating apathy. Dr. Linda Thompson, a geriatric nutritionist, explains, older adults often lose interest in cooking and eating well. Taste buds change, appetite decreases, and the social aspect of meals disappears. Consider Robert, a 73-year-old widower. After his wife died, Robert's diet consisted mainly of frozen dinners, crackers, and coffee. I just didn't see the point in cooking for one person, he says. Within a year, Robert had lost 25 pounds, felt constantly tired, and his doctor found he was deficient in multiple vitamins. But Robert's transformation began with one simple change. He started eating one fresh fruit daily. My daughter brought me oranges, and I forgot how good fresh food could taste. This led to adding vegetables, then preparing simple, nutritious meals. His energy returned, his mood improved, and he even started inviting neighbors over for dinner. Research from the Journal of Nutrition shows that malnutrition affects up to 50% of hospitalized seniors, but much of this malnutrition starts at home with poor eating habits. How to avoid nutrition neglect? Make eating an event, not just fuel consumption. Even eating alone, set the table nicely, play music you enjoy, and focus on the flavors and textures of your food. Prepare simple, nutrient-dense meals using whole foods. If cooking feels overwhelming, start with simple combinations: yogurt with berries, soup with whole grain bread, or salad with canned salmon. Consider sharing meals with neighbors or family members when possible. The social aspect of eating is just as important as the nutrition. 6. The sleep sabotage, when rest becomes restless. I just don't sleep like I used to. This phrase is so common among people over 70 that many accept it as inevitable. But Dr. Michael Chen, a sleep specialist, disagrees. While sleep patterns change with age, chronic insomnia and poor sleep quality aren't normal parts of aging. Betty, 69, had been taking sleep medications for 3 years. I'd lie awake for hours, thinking about everything and nothing, she recalls. The medications helped her fall asleep but left her groggy and confused during the day. She was caught in what sleep researchers call the tired but wired cycle. The breakthrough came when Betty learned about sleep hygiene, not just keeping a regular bedtime, but creating an entire environment and routine that promotes natural sleep. She discovered that her evening cup of coffee, her habit of watching the news before bed, and her bright bedroom were all working against her natural sleep rhythms. Research from the Sleep Foundation shows that adults over 70 need just as much sleep as younger adults, 7 to 8 hours per night, but their sleep architecture changes, with more light sleep and less deep sleep. How to avoid sleep sabotage. Create a sleep sanctuary. Your bedroom should be cool, dark, and quiet. Establish a wind-down routine starting 2 hours before bedtime. Dim the lights, avoid screens, and engage in relaxing activities like reading or gentle stretching. If your mind races when you lie down, keep a notebook by your bed to write down worries or tomorrow's tasks. This helps clear your mental space for sleep. Avoid caffeine after 2 p.m. and limit daytime naps to 20 to 30 minutes before 3 p.m. 7. The mental stagnation, when learning stops. Neuroscientist Dr. Patricia Williams makes a striking statement. The brain that doesn't learn new things is like a muscle that never exercises, it atrophies. This concept, called neuroplasticity, means our brains can form new connections throughout our entire lives, but only if we challenge them. George, at 76, had always been sharp. He ran a successful business, managed complex financial decisions, and prided himself on his mental acuity. But after retirement, his days became routine. Wake up, read the same newspaper, watch the same TV shows, go to bed. Within 2 years, George noticed he was forgetting names, struggling with simple math, and feeling mentally foggy. His wife suggested he take a computer class at the local community center. "I thought I was too old to learn technology," George admits. But the process of learning something completely new, understanding how to send emails, navigate the internet, and even create simple documents, awakened something in George's brain. Research from the Mayo Clinic shows that engaging in mentally stimulating activities can delay cognitive decline by up to 5 years. But the key is novelty and challenge, not just mental activity. How to avoid mental stagnation. Challenge your brain with new experiences regularly. This doesn't mean you need to learn rocket science. It could be trying a new recipe, learning to play a musical instrument, taking up a craft you've never done, or even changing your routine routes when walking or driving. The brain thrives on novelty and problem solving. Consider joining book clubs, taking classes, or teaching something you know to others. Teaching is one of the most powerful ways to keep your mind sharp. 8. The financial fear. When security becomes anxiety. Money worries don't disappear after 70. In many cases, they intensify. Dr. Amanda Foster, a financial psychologist, explains, many seniors live in a state of constant financial anxiety, even when they have adequate resources. This fear can lead to extreme restrictions that reduce quality of life unnecessarily. Eleanor, 72, had a comfortable retirement savings and a good pension. But she lived in constant fear of running out of money. She stopped going out to dinner with friends, refused to travel to see her grandchildren, and even limited her grocery shopping to the bare minimum. What if I need long-term care? What if there's a market crash? She worried constantly. This financial anxiety was affecting Eleanor's health. She wasn't eating well, wasn't socializing, and was experiencing chronic stress. Working with a financial advisor who specialized in seniors, Eleanor learned to create a realistic budget that included both security and enjoyment. She discovered she could afford her current lifestyle for decades and still have emergency funds. How to avoid financial fear. Get professional help to create a realistic financial plan. Many seniors either have no clear understanding of their financial situation or have an overly pessimistic view. A financial advisor can help you understand what you can realistically afford and create a plan that balances security with quality of life. If professional help isn't accessible, start by tracking your actual expenses for 3 months. Many people find they're in better financial shape than they thought. Before we continue with our final 4 points, I want to ask you to hit that like button if this content is helping you or someone you care about. And please subscribe to our channel. We create content specifically designed to help people live their best lives at every age. 9. The health neglect. When prevention becomes procrastination. I'm old anyway, so what's the point? Dr. Rachel Green, a geriatrician, hears this attitude frequently. Many patients over 70 adopt a fatalistic approach to their health, skipping preventive care and ignoring symptoms because they think it's just aging. This attitude cost William, 74, dearly. He'd been experiencing some chest discomfort during his morning walks but dismissed it as getting old. He skipped his annual physical for 3 years, thinking he felt fine enough. When he finally collapsed during a family gathering, doctors discovered significant heart disease that could have been detected and treated much earlier. Contrast this with Helen, also 74, who treats her health appointments like important business meetings. She gets regular checkups, follows through on screening tests, and reports new symptoms promptly. When Helen's mammogram showed an early-stage breast cancer, it was caught so early that treatment was minimal and successful. Research from the National Institute on Aging shows that many health problems that seem like inevitable aging are actually preventable or treatable conditions. How to avoid health neglect. Make prevention a priority. Schedule and keep regular appointments with your healthcare providers. Don't dismiss new symptoms as just aging. Report changes in your energy, pain levels, sleep, memory, or mood. Create a simple health log where you note how you feel each day, any symptoms, and your energy levels. This can help you and your doctor identify patterns and catch problems early when they're most treatable. 10. The purpose void. When days lose their meaning. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, wrote that humans can endure almost anything if they have a sense of purpose. This need doesn't diminish with age. If anything, it becomes more critical. Patricia, 68, describes the first year of her retirement as the worst year of my life. After 40 years as a nurse, suddenly her days had no structure, no one needed her expertise, and she felt invisible. I went from being essential to being irrelevant overnight, she recalls. The solution came when Patricia began volunteering at a free clinic. I realized I didn't need to stop being a nurse. I just needed to find a new way to use my skills. Patricia now works part-time at the clinic, mentors new nurses, and feels more energized than she did in her final years of full-time work. Research from the University of Michigan shows that older adults who volunteer regularly live longer, have better mental health, and report higher life satisfaction than those who don't. How to avoid the purpose void. Identify what gives your life meaning and find ways to incorporate it into your daily routine. This might be helping others, creating something, sharing your knowledge, or caring for family members. Purpose doesn't have to be grand or world-changing. It just needs to be meaningful to you. Consider volunteering, mentoring, part-time work in something you're passionate about, or creative projects that bring you joy. 11. The technology resistance. When fear becomes isolation. I'm too old to learn this stuff. This phrase keeps millions of seniors disconnected from tools that could significantly improve their quality of life. Dr. James Liu, who studies technology adoption among seniors, explains, technology isn't just about convenience. For seniors, it can be a lifeline to healthcare, social connection, and independence. Mary, 71, lived alone and was becoming increasingly isolated. Her children lived across the country, and phone calls were her only connection to family. When the pandemic hit, Mary's isolation became dangerous. She couldn't shop safely, couldn't see her doctor easily, and felt completely cut off. Her grandson spent a weekend teaching Mary to use a tablet. At first, Mary was frustrated and wanted to give up. But once she could video chat with her great-grandchildren, order groceries online, and access virtual healthcare appointments, Mary's world opened up again. "I wish I'd learned this years ago," she says now. How to avoid technology resistance. Start small and focus on the benefits, not the complexity. Choose one technology tool that would genuinely improve your life. Maybe video calling to see family, online banking for convenience, or a medical alert system for safety. Ask family members or friends to teach you patiently, or look for senior-friendly technology classes at community centers. Remember, you don't need to master everything. Just learn the tools that will make your life better. 12. The gratitude deficit. When focus shifts to loss. Perhaps the most insidious thing that can ruin life after 70 is the gradual shift from noticing what we have to focusing on what we've lost. Dr. Susan Adams, a psychologist specializing in aging, notes, it's natural to grieve losses of friends, abilities, roles. But when loss becomes our primary focus, it colors everything. Richard, 75, found himself constantly talking about what he used to be able to do. He used to run marathons, used to have a sharp memory, used to have more energy. Every conversation became a litany of losses, and Richard's friends began avoiding him. More importantly, Richard was missing the good things still present in his life. The transformation began when Richard's daughter suggested he write down 3 things he was grateful for each day. At first, I thought it was silly, Richard admits. But it forced me to notice the good stuff I was ignoring. Richard began appreciating his daily coffee, the jokes his neighbors shared, the satisfaction of completing crossword puzzles, and the sunset he could see from his kitchen window. Research from UC Davis shows that people who practice gratitude regularly have better physical health, stronger relationships, and greater life satisfaction. How to avoid the gratitude deficit. Make gratitude a daily practice. Each morning or evening, identify 3 specific things you're grateful for. These don't have to be big things. The warmth of sunlight through your window, a kind word from a cashier, or the taste of your favorite tea all count. When you catch yourself focusing on losses, acknowledge the feeling but then consciously shift to something positive in your present life. Conclusion. Your golden years can truly be golden. Life after 70 doesn't have to be about decline, limitation, or quiet desperation. The 12 challenges we've discussed today are real, but they're not inevitable. Each one can be prevented or addressed with awareness, intention, and often simple changes in daily habits. Remember Margaret from our introduction? 6 months after recognizing these patterns in her own life, Margaret is dancing again. She joined a senior center, started taking a gentle yoga class, simplified her medications with her doctor's help, and began video chatting with distant family members. Most importantly, she started each day by identifying one thing she was looking forward to, sometimes as simple as watering her plants or as exciting as a lunch date with a friend. The key insight is this: aging successfully isn't about fighting the natural process of getting older. It's about refusing to let preventable problems steal the joy from your golden years. Every challenge we've discussed today has a solution, and it's never too late to start. Whether you're 70 or planning for 70, whether you're dealing with one of these challenges or trying to prevent them all, remember that small, consistent actions create profound changes over time. You don't need to transform everything at once. Choose one area that resonates most with you and start there. Your life after 70 can be rich, meaningful, connected, and joyful. The research is clear, the examples are real, and the path forward is available to you. If this video has given you hope, insight, or practical tools you can use, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your engagement helps us reach others who might benefit from this message, and it tells us to keep creating content that truly matters. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Remember, every day is a new opportunity to choose vitality over decline, connection over isolation, and joy over resignation. Until next time, take care of yourself and those you love.